Popular opinion would have us believe that Robert Zemeckiss Tom Hanksstarring movie is a feel-good, highly quotable classic. Well, quotable it may be, but it's judgmental and preachy with some extremely questionable politics. If you'll forgive us a little biblical reference, Forrest is our happy naive Adam, rewarded for his ignorance, while Robin writes Jenny is Eve, who makes the terrible mistake of being socially conscious and sexually promiscuous. She must be punished by dying from an AIDS-like illness. Forrest also steals the credit for the achievements of African Americans, from breaking segregation to catching the Watergate burglars. Pour some sickly sweet syrup over all that, and you're good to go. Hugh Armitage 5. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2. Copyright Warner Brothers. Everyone knows the Harry Potter story inside out, but that turned out to be a weakness for the 8th and final film. Just imagine trying to follow the convoluted gubbins about Rowena Ravenclaw's diadem, what, and wand loyalty who if you hadn't read the books in advance, and you have to admit that the storytelling is a mess. Sequences like the action in the Forbidden Forest, which is so dark as to be almost impossible to follow, and the appalling 19 years later epilogue, drag down an already turgid plot. Citizen Kane. This is not. Speaking of which, advertisement continue reading below. Hugh Armitage 6. Citizen Kane copywriter beloved of critics and scholars of cinema, yet unwatched by hundreds of millions of cinemagoers. It's one of the undisputed pioneers of film, a groundbreaking technical masterpiece for anyone, let alone a 25-year-old first-timer. We won't dispute any of that. On those terms, it's magnificent. But what's in it for the regular punter? There's no one to care about. Joseph Cotton's ostensible protagonist barely exists as a character, while Orson Welles' Kane is a copper-bottomed asshole who makes life worse for everyone he meets. Yes, we know that's the point, but it leaves us watching an entitled young man become a grotesque old monster over the course of 2 hours. Big whoop. Add to that the celebrated structure, a rich man's life told from multiple, differing perspectives, and you have a movie that constantly shuts you down the moment you're starting to engage with it. And the ending Rosebud doesn't justify the means. Chris Longridge 7. Finding Dory. Copyright Twitter. Disney. So Finding Dory isn't terrible, but it is mind-blowing to us that they got away with making what is essentially a watered-down imitation of Finding Nemo, and then it went on to become the 4th highest-grossing movie of all time. Seriously, it hits all the same beats as the original movie, missing fish, captured by humans, final daring rescue climax, etc., etc. No one seemed to bat an eyelid at the scene dedicated to mocking an apparently mentally disabled sea lion, and the film went on to make over $1 billion. Hugh Armitage 8. There Will Be Blood. Copyright Paramount Miramax. It's easy to admire Paul Thomas Anderson's work. It looks ravishing, it deals with big themes, it features the world's greatest actors doing outstanding work. But it's also frequently boring. We're not saying there's no merit to There Will Be Blood. Obviously it's an epic story of biblical proportions, but it also goes on and on and on while very little of apparent significance happens. The founding of the U.S. oil industry just isn't a ripe subject for cinematic excitement and human drama, even if Daniel Day-Lewis does his biggest John Huston impression and you throw in the occasional pillar of fire to liven things up. And the milkshake thing at the end was just silly. Chris Longridge. Want up to the minute entertainment news and features? Just hit like on our Digital Spy Facebook page and follow on our @DigitalSpy Twitter account and you're all set.